Welcome back, everyone, to the Friday edition of Sports Shorts Daily. Ronnie Rance alongside Tommy Chrysan, TK over at Tremonti's Meat and Seafood. It's T-shirt Friday here on Sports Shorts Daily. TK over at Tremonti's Meat and Seafood in Baton Rouge. They got in, and then I am at an undisclosed location presented by the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame. It's going to be here before you know it, folks. I mean, literally less than 2 months. I can't believe I'm saying that. Less than 2 months is the Louisiana Hall of Fame induction ceremony. It is going to be in Natchitoches. All weekend long festivities that you want to be a part of. LASportshall.com. Go check it out. And, of course, the LeBears Casino, where we'll be tomorrow morning for Sports Shorts Daily, is our presenting sponsor. Tomorrow, 9 to 11, you can tune in to Sports Shorts Radio on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. And we will be there live, me, Tommy, and Hunter McCann. Joel Davis will join us via the phone, and he'll talk draft. I know Joel Davis was not happy with the New Orleans Saints. He was not happy with the draft. I got word that he was ranting and raving, so I can't wait. Tune in tomorrow morning about 9:30. We'll have Joel Davis on at 9:30 in the morning. Joel Davis on. Get your cup of coffee and listen to Joel go off on the Saints and Pels. Saints take Aga, an offensive lineman out of Oregon State, big 6'6", 300-plus pound offensive lineman. Obviously we know the problems with Ramczyk and his health, and we know the problem with the big lineman from Iowa that's been kind of a bust. So he's a plug and play. Like, this guy's going to play unless he's hurt right now. And it was the hope that maybe they would take Brian Thomas. There was some talk that maybe they would take Brian Thomas with the 14th pick. But at the end of the day, offensive linemen, the needs outweighed, the little luxuries, even though there's a need at wide receiver, bigger need on that offensive line. And so I don't hate the pick, Tommy. It's not the sexy pick, but in their mind, they took the best offensive lineman available.
Well, it's that's what we needed. That's a spot we wanted to fill, and they filled that spot now, as you said. If he's not hurt, he's lining up a tackle when the Saints opened the 24 season. So, it was the need, as they say. And we'll see how it plays out. I mean, a lot of the national guys who look at the Saints differently than we all do here in Louisiana all gave it an A+, an A. I mean, everybody said perfect. So the consensus is it was a very good pick for the Saints. Time will tell.
The congratulations to Jaden Daniels. Went second overall. That was to be expected. Caleb Williams went first overall. What we weren't sure was Malik Neighbors, where he would go. I thought he would go top 10. He did. He went 6th to the Giants. So how about that for 30 minutes? Tell us the outstanding stat that LSU held the record for 30 minutes.
In the common NFL draft, the history of it, LSU became the first team to have a quarterback and wide receiver both taken in the top 10 in the first round. And okay, rah. Well, as you said, about 30 minutes later, Penix and Odunze from Washington went back-to-back, actually, but I think the 8th, 9th pick. So they became the second team to do it. But LSU was the first.
Brian Thomas ends up going 23rd overall to Jacksonville Jaguars. 3 players in the top 23 picks, and just wide receiver it's unbelievable. 2 Heisman Trophy winners in 5 years. The wide receiver thing just continues. Good congratulations to Brian Thomas, the Livingston Parish product from Walker High School. I actually have a number of Brian Thomas footballs for the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame auction. So, glad I got him over at Greystone. He was hanging out one day signing for Dirk Lockhart, a bunch of autographs for the neighbors here in Greystone, going up on those B11 footballs. But that's a tremendous thing, man. Life-changing for all those players. And Malik Neighbors, big Rougarou supporter, man. He's been out to some 2 or 3 games and just a great dude. And so super happy for all of them.
Yeah, I remember Neighbors out of the Rougarou game. Every kid in line got an autograph. It's not like he signed a few and then said, okay, guys, I got to go. He just did the deal like you're supposed to do it. So I'm excited for him. And in New York, I mean, he's not the most outgoing guy, but in New York, he's life changing. I mean, his world changed significantly, and I think he and Brian Thomas are way better than Marvin Harrison Jr. My opinion. Okay, and there's others that have said that nationally that Harrison's the most overrated receiver in many, many years. But as you always say, we got to let it play out. Time will tell.
Have you? Did you see on social media the clip of Malik Neighbors' parents?
No, I did not.
It was so funny at the draft. I mean, bless her heart, she was caught up in the moment. Is so funny. The reporter, I was Julie Andrews, who asked her, how far have you come? How far have y'all come to be, to be a part of, to be here? And she said, Baton Rouge. We're, or have you allowed?
Yeah.
Get the exact question, but it was like, how far have y'all come, or have you allowed just and
yeah, she meant like you remember the Little League days, and now here you are here. She said, "Well, from Baton Rouge." Hey, good. Hey,
the talk of the draft though is the Atlanta Falcons, and it couldn't happen to a better franchise. But I'm going to play half full. We'll play negative at first, and we'll go half full for the Falcons. They just signed Kirk Cousins in the offseason. And by the way, 6 quarterbacks taken in the first, 12 picks or something like that. That's crazy. Bo Nix to the Broncos. Nobody thought Bo Nix was going to be the guy couldn't play at Auburn. He ends up being the 12th pick. I mean, great for him. I mean, great for him. And then J.J. McCarthy becomes the 10th pick overall. The Vikings. It's unbelievable how they overvalue quarterbacks. But I get it. I mean, nobody's going to win the championship without a great one. And so you're throwing them against the wall, seeing what sticks. But so Penix, who had a great year in Washington but got hurt, ends up going 8th overall to who? Who took him?
Falcons.
Oh, Falcons. I'm sorry. That's what I'm saying. Falcons. Okay. At first blush, you think, okay, I mean, hey, he's probably the 4th best quarterback. All right, that's not the question. The question is that Kirk Cousins just signed a mega deal with guaranteed money with the Atlanta Falcons. He is going to be their starting quarterback for the foreseeable future, at least the next 3 years. And the Atlanta Falcons are in a position to take a player that can make a difference right now, can help their franchise start right now, maybe an all-star type player, a Pro Bowl type player, and instead you take a quarterback that you're going to put on the bench and it has no chance of really playing unless it's an emergency situation for the next 3 years at least. This is an interesting pick. I mean, they must really, really, really believe in Penix, much like Steve McNair, but the Oilers believed in Steve McNair, that the Green Bay Packers believed in Aaron Rodgers, where they took first-round picks. But none of them took a 8th pick in the draft. Those guys had picks later on. 8th pick in the draft? Wow.
Well, Ronnie, every year, if we had it in front of us, you can go back to the first round of every draft. And there's always one of those head scratchers or one of those like, really? Did that really just happen? This year it was the Falcons taking Penix, and I mean, we'll see.
I remember Aaron Rodgers was 20-something. Steve McNair, who came out of the SWAC, and when he came out of the SWAC in the early 90s, it wasn't, a decade or so after Jerry Rice came out of Mississippi Valley State, wide receiver. And of course, we all know what he did. Steve McNair was actually the 3rd pick in the draft. They stashed him for 3 or 4 years, and then he became a great player in the NFL. Of course, tragically killed years later. But in a day and age where Kirk Cousins, I don't know, it's a bizarre pick to me. To me, like a waste pick, unless they're just going to end up being the smartest guy in the room and know something that we didn't.
Well, it's like this. The other part of that is you don't have to have every team want you. You got to have one team that wants you. Well, the Falcons want him, and somewhere in their war room and somewhere over the course of the last month plus, they agreed or got to the point of that's the guy we want, and then obviously he was there.
it's going to end up being probably what's best for Penix in his career. No question about it. I mean, it's always best to stash a quarterback, let him get adjusted to the NFL, and let him sit for 2 or 3 years, watch, learn, all that. No question. This is what's best for him in his personal career. I'm just saying that it's, to me, for a franchise, it's one thing if you're the defending Super Bowl champs, or you're, just lost in the Super Bowl, or you're down the road, you're a perennial playoff team, you're down. This is a team trying to just get to the playoffs. This is a team that's trying to have a winning record. And for their franchise, the Atlanta Falcons, this is like a luxury pick. And they're not in a luxury pick situation. They're in a situation where they need help. And I'm so enthralled and interested in watching how this plays out over time. They may look like the smartest guy in the room. Something happens to Kirk Cousins, and Penix has to end up being a starting quarterback next year or something. But anyway, that'll be fun for the New Orleans Saints. Aga. Nobody's going to go run out and buy Aga jerseys, but the bottom line is that they needed help. Where did the Saints pick today?
They take the 45th overall in the second round. That's their only pick today. They got a lot of picks coming up tomorrow. We'll talk about all that on Sports Shorts Radio, 9 to 11 tomorrow because of the NFL draft. But so we'll see where the Saints go. So they'll be 13th or 14th today, and they're going to get a player that's going to make the team, you would think.
You saw Brian Kelly, Nick Saban on the set together at the draft.
Did not.
Yeah, that was wild. Different world now. LSU.
That's an understatement.
Yeah. LSU baseball. Yesterday, I had the chance to be at the LSU alumni luncheon. It was the third luncheon of the spring, the third and final luncheon of the spring that they did at Lod Cook. And if you missed it, you need to definitely try to do it next year if they do it again. And it's a luncheon where each and every week you have like 3 or 4 panelists. We have a panel discussion and from 12 to 1, and I was the MC of it. Yesterday we had Jay Johnson and Cade Beloso on for the first half hour, and then after that we had Ryan Schimpf, Buzzy Heidel, and Mikey Matuk, members of that 2009 national championship team. And Jay was, it was there with his wife, and he was in a good mood. Winners of 4 of their last 5 games, and obviously played one of its, even though it was against Nichols, a good team in the Southland Conference, they played one of their best games of the year on Tuesday, where they had a pitch to shutout as a staff and hit 5 home runs and only gave up 3 hits and didn't make an error. It's about as clean of a game as a game they've played all year. But he did say that Jump would go today, and that Holman tomorrow and Ackenhausen on Sunday. A little surprised that it's not, hey, if Griffin Herring doesn't pitch Friday or Saturday, we'll start him on Sunday, much like LSU did with Lewis Coleman back in the day, and Bradford and others, that when you were a little short as a staff, you have your best guy come in to close or clean up, to win if you got a chance to win, but if not, start them on Sunday. And my thought there, Tommy, is just simply this: you don't want to find yourself in a situation where Griffin Herring, by the time he comes in the game, if he doesn't throw on Friday and Saturday and he throws on Sunday, that you're already down and you never come back, even if he throws zeros. So you'd rather if I know I'm going to get 5 good ones out of him, give me those 5 first and let me hang on at the end, versus Griffin Herring gives me 5 great ones, but we're already down 4-0 by the time he comes in the game.
I agree with you completely, and that's that whole thing that's always a part of baseball, How do you figure out this pitching in college? You got to defer to Jay Johnson, and, he's got a plan, and we'll see if it works. And, they got to win 3 games, as we talked about on Wednesday. They got to win 3 games. There's no other way to position it.
Todd Walker and I had a drink last night in Baton Rouge. He was in town for he was being honored with Louisiana Public Broadcasting, one of their Louisiana Legends event that they had at the state capitol, the old state capitol last night. John Bell Edwards, the former governor, was one of those legends. Sam Nader, who worked at LSU in football for decades, he was another legend, and others. And Todd's like, he's like, I don't think LSU's going to sweep. Auburn. He's like, I think LSU has to win all the rest of their series. I don't think they're capable of sweeping anybody this year. Can they win the rest of the series? Yes, but I don't think they're going to sweep. He's like, for a couple of reasons. One, Auburn's not going to go 2-28. They're not going to go 2-28. They're not that bad. And law of averages, you're just not going to go 2-28. So they're going to win some games. They're going to get to 5 wins some kind of way, right? 5 or 6 wins some kind of way. And it's been a while since they won, so they're due. It's kind of one of those law of averages things. That's his philosophy, is that he doesn't think that LSU is going to sweep a series this year. But can they win the last few series, 4 series? Yeah, he thinks they can. Obviously, A&M is the big giant one. I disagree with him. I think this is your chance. They are down. They're out. You've got to keep them down and out by the time. And then another chance is when you get to Ole Miss. I mean, who knows what's going to happen with Ole Miss? There's tremendous chatter and heat on Mike Bianco. I mean, if they don't make the postseason, I would think Mike Bianco's probably fired as the coach at Ole Miss. He won a national championship 2 years ago. They didn't make postseason last year. If they don't make postseason this year, I think they move away from Mike Bianco. As much as I hate to say that, because I love him personally, he was on the verge of getting fired in 22. May 1st, he was fired. His athletic director told his old athletic director at A&M they were going to make a change. And then he went on a miracle carpet ride in May and June, miracle run, and won the national championship. I mean, so those 2 months in that national championship got him the new contract, but then if you go 2 losses in a row, SEC baseball is too big now. It's not like it was 20, 30 years ago. You can't slip by. It's too important. The crowds are, they were already murmuring for him to get fired. 2-month run, 64 team into the league. They were 14-16, by the way, 14 and 16th, and the last team to get in 22. They were 14-16. Everyone thinks LSU can go 13-17 and get in because the strength of the league, LSU, RPI, all that stuff. They think 13 LSU will get in. So that's the magic number to watch. But keep in mind, in 22, Ole Miss was 14-16. They were the last team in, and they went on to win the national championship. So, but I'm pulling for Ole Miss. But if things don't go well for Mike, if things don't go well in the next 3 weeks, you may be finding a team that's, squeezing the pressure. That LSU may be the death nail there, which would be ironic if that kept Ole Miss out of postseason with that last game at LSU. But so much to watch. But it starts tonight, 6:30. Gage jump on the bump. He just came off of being SEC pitcher of the week against Missouri. And hopefully the Tigers sweep, because you and I both believe if they do sweep this weekend, it's realistic for them, and there's a path that makes sense. 1 game against A&M, win a series against Alabama, win a series against Ole Miss, and you're in with 13 wins. If you don't win all 3 this weekend, is it realistic you're going to sweep? I mean, you're going to win a series against A&M?
No.
Or you got to sweep somebody else. This is the path that makes sense. Sweep against Auburn this weekend. Are you going?
Yep. I may be out there tonight. Maybe tomorrow night. Sunday, no, but we'll see. I got. It's one of those weekends. We got like 9 things that could happen.
One of those things is the Zurich. Folks are excited about Rory McIlroy playing in the Zurich. First time he's played there. I know that's anybody that's going is like, I want to see Rory. I want to see Rory. I mean, obviously one of the greatest players of all time, greatest player one of the great top 3 players on the tour right now. Who knows if he's ever going to be back. Pels in action tomorrow at 2:30. Tommy, what's the line and what are you thinking?
Oklahoma City minus a 1.5. So I dropped some money on the Thunder shortly before we started this morning's show, and I just think the Pelicans are done. Yeah, that game 1, they were right there. Game tied with 30 seconds to go, and then all of a sudden it got away. But then they got crushed as I hit that one. They got crushed in game 2. So now it's game 3, and all I'm going to do is whatever Hunter McCann says. That's what goes. We gotta roast him tomorrow morning.
Well, there's no chance the Pels are going 2-2. Can we? I mean, look, the Pels had a better record on the road than they did at home.
And
Think
tomorrow's game's at home. Just
Yeah.
footnote.
They had a better record on the road than they did at home. They had their chance in the first game. They lost by 2. They got absolutely throttled in game 2. No Zion. I mean, we've heard a report Zion would probably play game 6 of this series. I mean, it's not going to be a game 6. You'd have to go 2-2, like Hunter McCann said. So I just don't feel real good about this. It's a shame. I was talking to Joel the other day, and we're going to have him on Sports Radio tomorrow morning. He is going to say I think he's under the belief that they should blow this thing up. I am not in that camp. You have 3 players and some nice role pieces around you. The problem is you have to have 2 of those 3 completely healthy and playing at a high level. You have no Zion and you have Ingram, who's not 100%. And, had just missed, 3 weeks or whatever prior to coming back. If you have all 3 healthy, we wouldn't be having this conversation. They wouldn't be even in this situation. They would have beaten the Lakers in one of those freaking games. They would have won the game on Sunday that Zion left with 3.5 to go tied, or they would have won the play-in game, or they'd have taken at least one from the Oklahoma City. You have to be healthy, and if you get rid of these guys, or you make a change, or you feel like you got to blow it up, or you can't trust their health, who's to say the next guy's not going to be healthy? I mean, that's the whole key, Tommy.
Yeah, it really is. But and whenever this season ends, which I think is going to be soon, I think a lot of thoughts got to be given to what Joel said. I'm not saying do it. I don't know if I'm on that bus with it, but I don't know. It's because they've been there, 49 games this year, best road record in the league, but then it just goes to pieces. Injuries. And the injuries affect NBA success more than it does MLB or NFL by far. And I don't know enough about hockey, but that's in there too.
I would definitely say that it does, because obviously you only have 5 court, and you need 2 great ones and some role players to be a really good team. So if all of a sudden you got 1 great one instead of 2, you're not a really good team, and that's the key. And so that's the problem. But I'll 2:30 tomorrow, Pels in Oklahoma City. I agree with you, Tommy. I don't know how you could bet big on the Pels. You should take Oklahoma City -1.5, and that because they look like the much better team. And boy, not only are they the much better team right now, they're going to be the much better team in years to come. I mean, that is a young team that is really, really talented. All right, TK, tell us about Tremonti's as we get out of here.
Well, they got everything you need for the weekend. They'll have boiled crawfish. They got live crawfish. You got all your wine, your bourbon, your vodka, meat and seafood, side dishes. They got some cheeses, some specialty cheeses here. It's all at Tremonti's Meat and Seafood, Jefferson Highway in Baton Rouge. Call them up, reserve some crawfish, order some crawfish, and they'll be happy to take care of you. Mike and the staff do a great job here.
Get your Rougarou hats. I've got these in black. We also have them in white, same Rug on the front. We've got some other ones that say Baton Rouge that are fantastic. You can go to brrougarou.com. Get you some gear. The hats we have right now. We've got 1, 2, 3, 7, 8. We've got 8 hats, different hats listed at brrougarou.com. So the hat game is strong right now. Go check it out. Folks are loving the new lids. We'll be back to Monday for more Sports Shorts Daily. Tune in tomorrow, 9 to 11 a.m. for Sports Shorts Radio on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. For Tommy Christ and I'm Ronnie Rand. Special thanks to LaBerge Casino, where we will be tomorrow morning. Come have a little breakfast with us or lunch. We'll see you then, everybody. Have a good one.